Hey everyone, Mystical Mark here. So this will be the astrology energy forecast for the week of August 20th to 26th of 2023. This week we have Mercury going retrograde and the Sun entering into Virgo. All right, let's dive right into it. All right, so to start off this week, the only transit we have peaking today on Sunday, August 20th, would be the Sun in quincunx to Neptune. So here we're dealing with a lot of kind of creative energy, as both signs kind of represent different aspects of creativity. This quincunx can represent an aspect of either integration or frustration, or in fact, quite honestly, both. It can be quite frustrating and involves an aspect of integration, as these signs are kind of completely different from each other. Leo is a very, focused on the self, focused on unconditional love, very out there masculine fire sign. Pisces is a very introverted, introspective, emotional water sign. However, both have a relation to creativity, both in different kinds of ways. So there could be an aspect of creative frustration, creative blocks coming on this day. Could be frustration with romance as well. Both signs can have kind of inklings around romance and that as such as well too. So there could be frustration surrounding that. This could also be regarding, with the Sun here in Leo, this is things in the light, things that have maybe come to light. Pisces can also be behind the scenes kind of things. So it's either you're sweeping it under the rug or you're kind of bringing it into the light. There's kind of this weird, awkward dance going on or balance that's there, but it needs to be kind of integrated in some way, right? There may be some secrets that have maybe been revealed in some kind of a way, but there's still things that are unknown, and it's this weird kind of frustrating, needing to just kind of go with it and try to figure it out kind of energy. So it's kind of interesting for a Sunday. So if you're not feeling very creative, not feeling kind of in that space, don't really be too hard on yourself. Take things easy. It could be a bit of kind of a frustrating day. All right, let's move forward to Monday here. So Monday, August 21st, we've actually got some more quincunxes peaking on this day. So on this day, we're going to have the Sun in quincunx to Pluto in Capricorn. So with Pluto in Capricorn, Pluto retrograde actually in Capricorn, we're really dealing with a lot of this finishing off of this destruction of the old world, of these old structures, of these old things. So things are kind of coming to light in a lot of ways, especially with this retrograde. It's introspective, it's going over old ground. Things are really kind of being brought to the surface. And again, with the Sun in Leo, Leo is like center stage, wants to be the one center stage, the focus of attention. So with this quincunx here, there's kind of this frustration of maybe these things being in the center stage or being of coming to light. It's almost similar to this quincunx with Neptune as well. And in fact, this is actually forming a yod on this day. So because we have the Pluto in Capricorn in sextile to Neptune in Pisces, with a focal point here being the Sun in Leo. So again, with this yod, this main focus is really being in this light, being in this unconditional love space, and bringing things to light, putting yourselves out there. But that can also be people who maybe haven't had their best intentions in doing certain things, and this can revolve around Capricornian things like corporation, top-down control, that kind of stuff. These things are coming to light, and its focus is being pushed into the light. And there's a frustration here from both sides, both from the people that maybe were the victims that it directly affected, along with the corporations or the companies or whoever these people are, or institutions or whatever that are kind of doing these things. And with this sextile, this Neptune and Pluto is kind of working together, since they are both retrograde, in going kind of over old ground. It's introspective. It's bringing up to the surface, especially with this Pisces Neptunian energy, bringing to the surface what really has been hidden behind the scenes. Pluto is kind of the revealer. And then, of course, this Neptune in Pisces is really kind of what's hidden, how we've been, manipulated through media or through other things of what we think we see or know as reality, but really it isn't, right? Pluto and Capricorn is kind of destroying that. With this sextile and Neptune, it's kind of giving power to that. Pisces is the realization that the reality that we see in front of us really isn't all that there is. So even though there's a lot of things that we can't see, they do exist, and that the reality that we do see is like a created fantasy. It's like this life is like a video game, and we're the characters playing in this game, and we're kind of realizing more and more the secrets that are going on kind of behind the scenes in this sense. And with this quincunx, maybe more so bringing this into light a lot with this Leo energy, I almost want to say that unconditional love, that higher vibration of love that doesn't allow those negative things to stay anymore. The more we move into that heart space, that love space, the more these negative things need to come out to be released and fall away. For those foundations that need to be transformed, right? Pluto and Capricorn need to tear down the old and rebuild a new foundation that is built on a higher vibration of love, right? So these things need to be revealed. It can be frustrating for all parties involved. But all of this needs to happen in order for us to lift into this space, right? Yod is known as the finger of God, and it's right now pointing at Leo, at this unconditional love space, and that this destruction and how it's happening, we need to transform and integrate it into this new space, into this kind of new way of being. Also on this day, the other quincunx that we have peaking is Mars in quincunx to the North Node in Aries. So Mars is in Virgo here. So with Mars in Virgo, we're dealing with our day-to-day lives, our day-to-day schedules. We're dealing with aspects of, perfectionism, OCD in a sense. Virgo is not always OCD, but it likes things to have a specific order. It likes things to be efficient. It likes things to be arranged in a certain way, scheduled things going on. And with Mars here, it kind of drives that. There's a passion to take action on more mundane things, like keeping things organized, keeping things clean, keeping things kind of in this proper space, bringing it back to its natural space. And with this North Node in Aries, it's like we want to move forward in our independence, but there's almost like this aspect of perfection or our day-to-day schedules, our day-to-day lives where we need to take action on that may be like holding us back. So there's kind of maybe this kind of frustration that exists in that aspect as well. And that can also relate to this Yod, to the Sun in Leo, to both Pluto, and Neptune, just regarding the destruction of these old ways. Remember, Mercury is in shadow. It's going to go retrograde in a couple days here. And so we're in this space of needing to slow down. Mercury is slowing down, right? It's going to go retrograde at the degree that it's in. So Mercury's not moving at its full speed at all. We're almost at a full stop here. So we need to slow down. We need to review these details. We need to review these things in our day-to-day lives to see, maybe where we need to take action, Mars in Virgo, to change, to make our lives more efficient, to kind of clean up, in a sense, our schedules, our day-to-day lives, so that we have more of a balance that's kind of going on here. So if we look at, if we move forward to Tuesday now, actually, we're going to actually see one of the transits peaking on this day is Mars in opposition to Neptune, right? So Neptune is retrograde in Pisces. Pisces, as this is kind of like the axis of health, right? Virgo is more like a physical health. Pisces is more of like, the behind the scenes, the hidden things, like mental, emotional health in a sense. So, but Pisces can also be sleep, rest, right? It deals with dreams, it deals with fantasy. So with this opposition, it's like, are the actions that we're taking, are we being too perfectionist? Are we doing our jobs efficient enough? Are we efficient enough in our own lives? Are we being too picky? Are we being too perfectionist? That doesn't allow this balance of escape, of sleep, of rest, right? Pisces is escapism. Right? Are we just wanting to escape from our day-to-day life, our reality, because we're tired of pushing through it? We're tired of doing this stuff. Again, this can relate to this Yod, like I said, with that Sun in Leo, and with this Pluto and Neptune aspect as well. And with Mars and Virgo, we have this passion to try to fix things, to fix our day-to-day lives, our schedules, to bring them, focus on the details now, to try to bring it back into a more efficient type of space. And with this opposition to Neptune, we're wanting to balance these things out. This could maybe push for a drive, like I said, for more escapism, for wanting a desire for more sleep. But that's pushing the scales here to try to balance itself out a bit more. The other thing that's peaking on this day is Venus in square to Jupiter. So remember, Venus is in retrograde as well, and Venus represents things like our career, our relationships, our money, right? And this is kind of in relation to this Mars and Virgo stuff and the other things I've been talking about this week, right? Where we're dealing with our career, especially our relationships, how we make money, right? Venus rules Taurus, where Jupiter is, where this square is happening, and Venus is retrograde. So this is introspective. This is going over all ground. This is looking at those Venus themes, those things, and being like, okay, what isn't working for us, right? Venus is in Leo. What's not loving in our career, our relationships, how we make money, our finances? Where are we not feeling our happiest? Where are we not representing our true selves and our true heart space in these areas in our life? And with this square to Jupiter, Jupiter wants to expand. It's a benefic. These are two benefics, and they're in square. So they're really strongly pushing for a positive resolution here regarding those themes. Remember, and it's very Venusian because Jupiter is in Taurus, the sign that Venus rules. And we're dealing a lot like with money, with abundance, with all of these themes. Jupiter wants to expand positively in these areas. But with this Venus retrograde, we need to look at where we're not in our heart, where we're not giving ourselves, Leo is like that royal energy. It's like, where are we not giving ourselves or allowing ourselves to be the kings and the queens, or, the non-binary royalty of our own lives, right? Right? We should be our own authority figures in this. Shouldn't be allowing other people to kind of nitpick and have a look at this. And that could go along with this opposition with Mars and Neptune, and this proper balance in terms of, our own health. And like the previous week, unconditionally loving ourselves. And through that, now we're moving in this space where maybe we need to realize more of a balance and change and expand in these new directions. Remember, Leo and Taurus are both fixed signs. So, and with Uranus is here too in Taurus, and it's flavoring this as well. So where do we need to shake things up and maybe change what we're fixating on in order to kind of adjust into these new spaces? So these are benefic planets. They are in a square, but that square is creating friction to push positive change and positive expansion with these Venusian themes that are going on. All right, so let's kind of move on to Wednesday, where it's kind of, I don't know, I'm calling it kind of the big day of the week. I think all these aspects are kind of like big in what's happening in the world, especially now when things are kind of like crumbling and falling apart. But this is the day when Mercury does in fact turn retrograde, and Mercury will be retrograde until September 15th. All right, on this day also we're going to have the Sun ingress Virgo. So we're going to be more focused on our day-to-day lives, schedules, the details, detail-oriented stuff. And I almost want to say perfection, but perfectionism maybe in the sense of where we're recognizing that in our lives, and also where we need to bring things back to their natural state. Virgo is very much wanting to heal things physically, but you can sometimes think of Virgos, they could be neat freaks or wanting to be perfectly organized, but it's bringing things back to its natural innate state. So this can deal a lot with health as well, and bringing yourself back to that. And with this Mercury retrograde here, we're being asked to kind of slow down in our day-to-day lives. Mercury likes to move quick. It's quick communication, quick, fast thought. It's all that stuff, but it's like we need to slow down. We need to slow down and look at the details. We're in Virgo now. We need to look at the details. Slow down, look at the details. Did we dot our I's? Did we cross our T's? Did we do all of these things? If you're not paying attention to the details, but this could be including in your health and everything as well during this retrograde, it's not going to go well for you. So make sure to slow down and pay attention to those things. And Virgo also represents our daily lives, the workers of the world. We need to slow down in that sense. With businesses and everything nowadays, everything's like push, 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 go, 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 grind, grind, grind. With this, it's going to be like, no, we need to stop. We need to slow down. Especially with this Mars in opposition to Neptune, it's like, holy crap, are we getting the rest that we need? What about our mental, emotional, as well as our physical health of our own body? Like, what is happening here, right? And with the Sun now entering into this space, this is highlighted. Our day-to-day lives, our day-to-day schedules, they're highlighted. A lot of this is highlighted here now with a lot of this energy now in Virgo. All right. Another thing that's speaking on this day is Uranus will be in quincunx now to Juno in Leo. Or sorry, not Uranus. Saturn. I don't know why I said Uranus. But Saturn in quincunx to Juno in Leo. So with Saturn here in Pisces, this is like almost like the dissolver of structures. And Saturn is retrograde here. So remember, we're going over old ground. And I've said this previously, with Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, with Pluto now in Capricorn, both retrograde, these things, Pluto's bringing things to the surface here, especially with this stuff behind the scenes where Saturn is here in Pisces. Pisces is behind the scenes kind of stuff. So with this quincunx to Juno in Leo, this is going to be frustration regarding partnerships, right? And where we may have, with Leo here regarding the heart, where we may even feel brokenhearted now. A lot of the structure in this may be beginning to be dissolved. This could be business partnerships, marriage partnerships, committed relationships of all kinds, and it could be breaking down, or there's a frustration, or like, I don't know how to integrate this anymore. These structures are falling apart, but it has something to do with our partnerships and our heart, and maybe where we've invested our heart into those types of commitments and relationships, whether romantic or otherwise. And it's kind of this frustration. I don't know what to do, but we need to find a way to try to integrate this to move forward. Like, these structures are going to dissolve, but there's an aspect of maybe unconditional love we need to have here, that it's like, all right, maybe this isn't working out, maybe these things need to dissolve, but life goes on, we need to move forward into these new kind of spaces. So it looks like kind of so far this week we've got a lot going on in terms of maybe things coming to light, being revealed, falling apart, and change and stuff that's going on. Remember, Saturn is in Pisces. It's a mutable sign. This is about change. This is about kind of falling apart before Aries is the new energy, the cardinal energy, right? But it's that mutable energy. And with Leo's a fixed sign. So that here, these are dealing with like relationships and partnerships that were fixed, right? This fixated energy. And Venus is here in Leo as well, which represents, career and relationships too, and it's retrograde, right? So what is not part of our heart space anymore and unloving really needs to fall away. What is not in our best interest in us loving ourselves, as well as within true unconditional love, needs to fall away. All right, let's take a look now at Thursday here, the 24th. This is where we're going to have the first quarter moon. So last week we had that new moon in Leo, dealing a lot with unconditional love and things surrounding that. Now the sun has ingressed into Virgo and is squaring the moon now in Sagittarius. So this is kind of the little versus the big, right? Virgo is all about the details, the day-to-day, the mundane, all of these things. Sagittarius is about expansion, positivity, bringing things into new multiple directions. Virgo is very focused. Sagittarius is a bit more expansive, not focused, expansive. It wants to know this and that and that. It's about knowledge, learning, expansion, teaching that knowledge, right? And with the moon here, this brings an emotional or subconscious flavor to that. And maybe that's where we need to expand, but maybe expand in terms of the details and what we bring to light in terms of our emotion and subconscious things that are going on, and learn and expand from this kind of space as we move forward. But this could also be just an expansion in our day-to-day lives, maybe even in new directions, as we focus on these details and realize what needs to shift and change in our daily schedules, daily lives, having a look at those details, maybe where we need to emotionally expand, or any direction where we need to expand it to emotionally feel better or to feel comfortable. Remember, the moon rules Cancer. Cancer deals Cancer wants to feel comfortable and wants to feel secure. And we maybe want to expand into new directions that are going to make us feel secure in our day-to-day lives, and are surrounding this idea of maybe resetting, bringing back to a normal state, or ideas of maybe perfectionism. And with this Leo stuff, having maybe unconditional love, and that this idea of perfectionism is maybe how we view it. We need to expand on that, or realize that we are perfect within our own selves. But I feel like it's more expanding in these new ways that's going to make us feel perfect in our own lives, or this change that we need to make within our day-to-day lives as well. Also on this day that's speaking is going to be Mars trine Pluto. So Mars here in Virgo in trine to Pluto in Capricorn. So we may be taking action on these these things that we need to fix, right? Virgo wants to fix. It wants to look at these details. And with Pluto here in Capricorn, it's dealing with our careers, our goals, but it's retrograde. And Pluto reveals things about these structures. It tears them down. It brings to the surface the truth, the underlying stuff, right? I always say, people, Pluto rules Scorpio, the modern ruler of Scorpio. It's like people are scared of Scorpios. They don't like Scorpios. But the thing is that it's not the Scorpio that they don't like, right? Scorpio brings to the surface the things within that person that they don't want to face, right? Scorpio is facing this darkness to be transformed and bring you back into the light. It's not that people are afraid of Scorpio. They're afraid of themselves. They're afraid of the stuff that they haven't integrated, that they haven't faced in their own lives. And with Pluto here in Capricorn, this is dealing with control structures, aspects of control, all these things. We're looking at our world literally fall apart before our eyes. And that's literally what Pluto was doing here. This, this is happening with Mars here in Virgo, is taking action to try to fix these. But with this trine, this is a positive energy. It flows, right? So we're taking action to Pluto is in this inwardly focused state, going over these old things, being like, hey guys, this is what's being brought up. What are we going to do about it? This needs to be fixed. With Mars here, it's taking action to kind of rebuild in a more efficient, more natural, more better kind of a way, right? Virgo is also that natural healing, that natural energy that's kind of existing. And with this quarter square too, that could be something that's going on as well, expanding and learning to heal more, maybe in a natural way as well, emotionally, to feel more secure, that expansion of health, of moving forward and moving in those new directions. All right, so if we look at the rest of the week, there really isn't much peaking. Well, there isn't any really major transit peaking in the next couple days. It's just kind of heading into, it looks like on Sunday, we're going to have the Sun opposition Saturn, so we may feel some aspects of frustration. And again, I'll talk about this more next week, but maybe more of this dissolving and focus on, our day-to-day lives and what needs to dissolve in those structures in order to allow us this more, I almost want to say, work-life balance in a sense, and in a lot of ways. So we're going to have kind of a lot of energy shifting. Uranus will go retrograde next week. So a lot of that stuff will be going on. If we kind of take a look at Saturday here, again, we're going to have the moon in Capricorn as well as we head into the Sun opposition Saturn. So it's going to kind of add to that emotional flavor of this Saturn and Sun opposition to it. So it's there's going to be kind of a focus on our goals, on work, on the structures of the world, especially emotionally. I don't know how good of a weekend it's going to be. I know we're kind of heading into kind of the back to school space. So maybe this could be getting us back to that more rigid, structured kind of a space here, especially now that we've got this Virgo energy happening and whatnot that's going on. All right, so that's kind of all that I have for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you didn't like it, well, you know what other button to press. If you want to get in touch with me on social media or check out my website or anything, all the links are in the description below. I hope everyone has a good and happy, amazing week this week. Take care of yourselves, look after yourselves, and have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye.